Okay, so on this one, we are trying to find, well, let's read it. A stone pyramid in Egypt has a square base. This is like a stone pyramid. Has a square base that measures 174 on each side. The slant height is 144. What is the volume of the pyramid? So they just show us this little thing, but they don't, it's a very realistic looking picture, but it doesn't show us, kind of what they're talking about. So let me help. So what I did is I also copied this picture from a different problem and put it below because that's what they're talking about. Let me show you. Let me put their numbers on my picture. They're saying the square base is 174 on each side. So let's just change this to be 174. Let me do a better job here. 174, 174. Because that's really what they're saying. It's 174 by 174 instead of the numbers I had. Okay. And then what else are they saying? They're saying the slant height is 145. What's that? That's this part right here. In fact, let me just, well, yeah, I'll just put it right here. Oh, well, I'm going to put it right here. Maybe easier. Let's say this right here is 145, meaning this piece which comes down the slant, that is what we call the slant height. So that's the slant height. That's down the slant, down the face of the pyramid. Now that's not the real height. And what do they want from us? They want the volume of the pyramid. Well, if we go to the notes, here's the exam 3 notes. So the exam 3 notes. They give us for pyramid, the volume is right here, or I did it this way: 1/3 length times width times height. But notice that height is the real height of the pyramid, right? Straight down the middle of the pyramid, right? It goes from the tip top straight down, hits the very middle of the base, middle of the ground floor, right in the middle of the square base. That's the real height. That's how we measure height of anything. Our own height. We got to go straight down to the ground, don't we? So that's the real height of the pyramid from the tip top straight down to the ground. That's height right to the middle. Not down the slant, not down the face of the pyramid. That's slant height. That's not real height. Kind of like right here on the cone, same thing. That's called slant height. That's not real height. Real height is straight down to the middle of the shape. Okay, so that's our first order of business. We've got to find the real height. Let me draw it. So if you put a dot right in the middle of the pyramid and you draw a line straight down to it, right there, that's the real height right there. Oops, let me try that. That at 90 degrees, right? I didn't do that too well. I guess it's not terrible. I'm getting kind of picky. Yeah, still not the best. I'm just struggling. All right, good enough. Yeah, so that's at 90 degrees. That's the actual height, isn't it? That right there. That's the height of the pyramid, right? From the tip top straight down to the middle. That's different than the slant height, which they told us is 145. Okay, so then the first we have to find the height before we can do anything else, before we can find the volume. We have to find the height. So how are we going to find the height? Well, do you see that we have a little right triangle? Right? We can figure out this piece right here, can't we? How do we figure that out? Well, it's half, it's to the middle, so this has got to be half of the 174. You see? Because it's out to the very middle of the pyramid. And the 174 is, 174 is the whole edge. So if you go out to the very middle, right, this height must land right in the middle of the pyramid. That's got to be half of the 174. So what is half of 174? So 174 divided by 2. I think it's, I don't know what it is. Use my calculator. 174 divided by 2. I'm getting 87. So this piece here has got to be 87. So we have a little right triangle. Do you see it? This is, and we're going to use a squared plus b squared is c squared, like we always use for the little right triangle. So this is a right here. B is the height, and this is c, which is the 145. Right? C has got to be the side across from the right angle. Remember, whenever we have a right triangle, C is the biggest side. You can tell that slant height is the biggest side. The other two, a squared and b squared, add up to equal c squared. It's the biggest side. So we've got a squared, b squared, c squared. So then we go, okay, so a is 87 squared. Plus b, that's the height we're trying to find. And c is the 145 squared. So use your calculator. I'm getting big numbers here. 7569 plus h squared, 145 squared, big number. 21,025, 21,025. Okay, and then we subtract 7569. Okay, and boom, boom. So h squared equals what? 13,456, and then we root it. And so the height of that pyramid, let's see, I'm getting 116, came out clean. So there's the height of the pyramid. So that's all the first step. And now second step, find the volume. So what is the volume equal? Well, the formula, again, you know, going back to this, it's been a while, go back to the pyramid. Volume is 1/3 length width height. So now it should be doable now that we have the height. 1/3 length times width times height. So it's going to be 1/3. What's the length width? Well, this is the length. And this is the width. They're the same. They're both just 174. 74 times 174 times the height, which is 116. And we get the height right there. So let me try to separate this a little bit better. There we go. What's the best, is it? There we go. Okay. So now let's hit the buttons on our calculator. So I'm going to go 1 divided by 3 times 174 times 174 times 116. And I'm getting a big number. 1170672. Is that right? Is that right? 1 divided by 3, 1 yeah. It's just big. So I get it's a million, and then that's it says round, but so I didn't have to round. So it's 1,170,672, and that's cubic meters because we're saying how many cubes could fill up that whole pyramid, meter by meter by meter cubes. 1,170,672 cubes could fill up that stone pyramid in Egypt. And so there we go.